This could be actually huge for Marathon because the devs have made some pretty sweeping changes in the alpha. Firstly, they've got rid of all of the aim assist stuff, the bullet magnetism and all of that on PC. This is massive. This makes the game feel great. If anything, it's given me more appreciation for the actual design of the weapons, the way the weapons feel. Yeah, it's great. I mean, we know Bungie is good at FPS games. That's what they do. This feels incredible now. It feels much better. Of course, there is still a big issue, you know, of like controller players still having some form of aim magnetism. Against PC players in the same lobby, it can be maybe not great. That's going to be something they're really going to need to address that. I think they have made some changes, though, although they're not documented in these patch notes. I think they've made it less strong on controller, the aim magnetism. Again, if any of you guys are playing on controller, then do let me know on whether it's on PlayStation or Xbox, because yeah, obviously I'm playing on PC, so yeah. But this is huge, right? The game feels so much better without that magnetism. I cannot actually stress that. It seems crazy to me that they actually launched the game with that. But I mean, I could also understand why they did it. And in fact, the devs did explain the reason why they did that is to try and create parity between controllers and PC. And did it work? No, it didn't. It really feels janky. It's not great. Now, before we get into these patch notes, there is something I actually want to talk about here. And this might be, are we actually trying to force Marathon to give us the juice that it actually does not have? Maybe Marathon doesn't have that extraction magic that it needs, and the devs need to make some big changes to actually insert that into the game, because I've been playing Arc Raiders. Now, these are the only two extraction games I've played. And for a while, I was debating with myself, maybe the reason I got attracted to Marathon, yeah, it was the aesthetics, right? Don't get me wrong, that's what pulled me in. But the running around, looting stuff with threat of being attacked by enemy players, and then threat of losing your stuff, this is what every extraction shooter does. And potentially, because it was my first experience of that gameplay loop, that's actually what was making me come back to Marathon. And I had no way of testing this. I wasn't about to go and play Tarkov. I think that's a little bit too hardcore for me. It would take me a long time to get into that. But enters Arc Raiders, I should say. And I'm like, oh god, this game, it's killing it. It's got massive maps, great map design. The weapons feel great. It's got things like the world feels alive. There's like gun turrets, good AI, events happening all over the place. Combat is fantastic the way it works in that game. The way you're drawn to combat with other players. The sound design is really good. The crafting system, the hub system, everything is fantastic with that game. And I'm starting to think this, like, it's opened my eyes to Marathon. Now, I think to play devil's advocate here with Bungie, well, that's not even the right phrase, but to kind of defend Bungie, I think I should say here, maybe something like Arc Raiders is a lot further along in development. I think that's been in development since 2020, I want to say, maybe even before that. I think it was announced in 2021 maybe, or 2022. Marathon, I don't know how long it's been in development for, but Marathon's going to launch this year, and it just feels like it's got so little stuff in it beyond the gunplay and the maps. I don't know what, like, they need to add a lot of stuff to Marathon, I think, to catch up. Anyway, this patch is fantastic, and I want to break it down because they are changing the way runner survivability works. They're buffing some weapons as well, although that's kind of counter what they've done to runners, and they're changing the way revive works. So check this out. Also, again, before we get into it, there's no solo in this game as well, and it's becoming very obvious to me. For an extraction shooter to work, you need some form of solo play in that game, because you not always want to play in a group. And I'll be honest as well, it's about grouping with the right people. And I don't mean the same skill level, I just mean people who want to do the same thing. Problem Marathon's got is contracts send you everywhere, so you could have a group of people who you're all doing different stuff. That's not great. You know, there needs to be some forced team cohesion, whether that's through selecting whatever you want to do. You know, let's say I'm going for like a high gear loadout and I'm looking for combat, and you could join a queue and it maybe puts you with other people who've selected the same thing potentially. That's something they could maybe do in the future. But anyway, let's break this down. Let's break down these changes, because remember, it's still early days and they are still learning and they're making changes, and I do think these changes are good. So these are the runner changes. Runner's base health has been increased from 100 HP to 120. However, shield HP has been decreased by the following amounts. So grey goes down to 20 HP from 25. Green goes down to 40 from 50. Blue goes down to 60 from 75. Purple goes down from 80 to 100. And gold, I've never seen gold in my life, that goes down from 100 to 80 as well. And the dev commentary is, One persistent feedback point we're seeing is that higher tier shields are too much of an advantage in combat. The changes above squish the difference in effective health across each shield tier a bit, shifting it back into the runner's base health pool. This should make punching upwards more viable when you're equipped with standard or green enhanced shields. Now, I think this does, right, but this works in concert with the removal of aimbot on PC. So you don't have aim magnetism anymore. It means you actually have to land your shots. So what was happening before is you kind of just had to look at the other runner and you start shooting them. And if they had better shields than you, you knew you had lost. You could not win that fight. It was all over. Now, it's like, well, actually, you need to still land the hits. It's still obviously easier if you've got less shields, but you still need to land the hits. So I think don't sleep on that change. It's going to have a big impact on the way the shields and time to kill works in the game, especially in PC, especially in PC versus PC. Anyway, this shield redistribution I think is good because it gives the basic runners with the green and the grey shields a much better chance against the runners with the higher tier shields. But don't be under any illusions here. The higher tier shields are still really good. They're still really strong. So if I'm going in with a purple shield and I've got 80 HP and I'm against somebody with a grey shield, I mean, I've got an additional 60 health straight away than them. Like, so unless I just literally can't aim or they land a load of headshots on me really fast and take me out, in which case they should win, then I should still have the advantage. I think in my head, stuff like shields, like the best shields, should only really give you like a 10% chance of like a 10% buff, let's say, against an enemy player. This to me still feels like quite a lot. And the more I play Marathon, sometimes the combat does seem to not drag, but you can have like the engagements, they begin, you attack each other, everyone runs away, heals, then you come back again. It does feel like Apex Legends in some ways. It doesn't feel like, you know, when I've been playing Ark Raiders. I always said Ark Survival Evolved. I've not been playing that. But when I've been playing Ark Raiders, the combat in that game is like, you start combat with somebody, you basically are going to die. Like, you need to just, it's very lethal. This game, Marathon, doesn't really feel like that. But the devs have said that's the direction they want to take it, into more of like an action-orientated extraction shooter. But one thing actually I would say to combat that, or go against it, would be, why have we got the heat mechanic in the game? If you want just pure action, just let us sprint everywhere. Like, why do we have to mess around with heat and trying to manage that through taking various chips and implants and stuff like that, you know? So this change I really like, right? This was super annoying that this was even in the game to begin with. So they've increased the decay rate on interaction progress when reviving fully killed crew members. So check this out. Progress now decays over 3 seconds instead of 180 seconds. So all this reviving allies from down is still unchanged. Now, what this does, the dev comments kind of explain it, but basically what you would do before is if one of your crew members got completely killed and you went over to them and you started to revive them, you would gain progress on them. And then if you had to run away because maybe you were getting interrupted, maybe you were getting shot at, or you could hear enemy players near or whatever, you could run away and then come back and carry on. And provided it was within 180 seconds, you still had your progress basically, or you'd have some progress and you could carry on. What this incentivized is running up to dead teammates and just kind of rezzing them a little bit, then running off and then rezzing them a bit more. Not great. This change now says if you want to res somebody, you need to commit to it. You need to get over there and res them, become the hero, and bring them back. Because if you click on them and you start resing them, and then you're getting shot at and you decide to run away, you're going to lose all of that progress. So I agree with this. It should be a high stress moment when you go in for that res, because it's a clutch moment. It should be very vulnerable as well. And yeah, this is a good change. So again, you know, good job, Bungie. I think this is a really good change. It will make the game better. So aim assist is gone, as I spoke about at the top of the video, but the official notes are remove mouse magnetism and aim adhesion on PC and disabled the setting to toggle it on and off. So like I said, I mean, against PC versus PC now is fair. PC versus controller is still going to have issues. And again, because this is crossplay, you don't really know who you're coming against. So yeah, I mean, but like I said, this just shouldn't have been in the PC version anyway. It was insane. Long shot. This is a sniper rifle. The damage has been increased by 11%. That sounds bonkers, but just wait a minute. And the overrun AR increased damage by 10%. Now, the dev comments are, we're also increasing the damage of a couple of our weapons to make sure they can keep up with the new health values above. For example, the long shot will still be able to down a runner at base shields with 1 precision headshot with the increased damage buff. Okay, but think about PvE. These weapons now do more damage to the bots on the map. They've just been straight up buffed. Yeah, they do more damage against runners, but again, that's because runners begin with more HP now. Like I said, you've got 120 HP instead of 100, and then you've got grey shields on top of that. So this is kind of good, but this kind of does go into the whole issue of time to kill and what they're actually trying to achieve in Marathon. How long do they want engagements to break out? Do they want Apex Legends style engagements? Do they want engagements which are much quicker? Do they want, like, you know, super dangerous engagements where if you are caught out in the open and you're shot, you are dropped? That seems to me that's not going to be the case in this game, and it's never going to be the case in this game. They want you to be able to react, which I think I'm a fan of. If you're getting hit, then you should be able to react to some degree. But then again, if you're out in the open and you just get lined up with a headshot, surely you should be taken out. And again, the other issue with this is solo play. The game is balanced for groups. It's not balanced for solo play. And again, one of the things that Arc Raiders is kind of showing me is you need solo in extraction shooters. And I don't think you can get away with not having that solo experience in the game in some capacity. So this, I think this may bring me to the end of the coverage on Marathon for a while. I don't know if they're going to plan any other big updates to this alpha. It might be a case if we need to wait for the next test phase. Hopefully they've got more substantial systems in the game and they make changes that are meaningful, that actually make us want to play the game, instead of, I guess, us like trying to find wherever this special juice is and we're not finding it. And then, like, for me specifically, I just go and play another game and I find it instantly. And I think, well, surely what the hell's going on here with these devs? Like, they must have, I think they've missed the point. You can be really cynical and say that all Marathon is just an art team gone wild. It's like the art director. It's an exercise in what can we possibly make that looks absolutely surreal and outrageous. It's our wet dream of an art design. And then we look at the gameplay and it's like, well, yeah, we're Bungie. We do guns well, but then we just don't really know what to do with anything else. And then, oh, by the way, we've got good PvE enemies, which goes without saying. It's Bungie, Destiny, hello. But then the rest of it is just like, well, what are we doing here, guys? We've got basic systems from extraction shooters, but where do we go? Where do we take this? What's the next path forward? What's the next step? I think that's the issue. So I think, like I said, I look at this and I think it needs more substantial updates. We go back to the debate of, is the game going to be delayed? The devs say it's not going to be delayed, but again, we're going to have to wait and see on that one, because I do feel like it needs a ton more content in. It needs more reasons for players to want to play the game. It needs more innovation. I think that's the other issue. There's not really any innovation here. The more I look at the game, I'm like, the innovation is the art design. That's it. Everything else is just very basic. A lot of the earlier criticisms, which I'll be honest, I kind of ignored, but I think I am starting to realize now do make more sense, is when people say, well, okay, when they say it's like Roblox, Apex Legends, I don't think I totally agree with that. But when they say it's Apex Legends style combat, or it's like an Apex extraction shooter, it's kind of ironic, right? Because the Titanfall extraction shooter got cancelled at EA recently, so you have to wonder what kind of a state that was in for that to happen. But yeah, all right, guys, let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Marathon, it's going to be one to watch, I think. It's going to be over to the developers to see what they do, see what changes they can make. And yeah, I think we just go from there. All right, guys, thanks for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, let me know what you think about this in the comments below. And actually, before we do go, one point which I think is a bit weird is they should be sending out more invites. Now, obviously, I can only look at SteamDB for player numbers. There are people playing on the consoles, which, of course, we can't see the details on. But the player numbers are not great. Like, they were high, like 6,500 or something as a peak. But it's really struggling to get, like, 1,000 player peak a day, I think now. I think maybe a 1,500 peak you get. But there's only a few hundred people playing generally when I want to play. And I'm like, surely you would be pumping the invites out to keep people coming in. But I tell you what, it also says, if people who got access to the game literally played it for one play session and thought, I don't know what the hell's going on here, and they haven't come back, that's probably a big problem. And I bet the devs are looking at all this data anyway. All right, guys, anyway, let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Let me know if you're excited for the game. Let me know if you've got access to the game. Let me know if you want access to the game. Not that I can give it you, but just let me know anyway. And yeah, thanks for watching the video, guys. You can follow me on everything, which is @Stylosa. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. See you soon.